Hello and welcome to the Deep Down Bear podcast. My name is Sean and joining me as always on this wonderful Thursday, the September. Dante, how are you, man?
You have a day that you can't enjoy the day even though it's on the bottom corner of your laptop.
Of course,
Right now.
Of course, Dante. What I wanted to ask you at the start of this pod is that, you know, we give you some gentle ribbing from time to time for being a bit of an old head. You know, if sometimes you're a bit of a 50-year-old man who plays RTSs trapped inside the body of a...
My nickname in the group chat used to be the cable guy, but what
Yeah.
you can check that for me.
Don't worry, you can. It's Delbert Jenkins.
Oh, great.
You remember him?
Yeah,
So
yes.
you know what? Don't focus on the RTS. Focus on the old head. Every now and again, you'll see us and you'll be like, "Oh, I've just heard the term skibbity." Or now, don't make fun of me. What does that mean? Right?
That's absolutely false.
If I just swapped out the word skibbity for brat, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because there'll be something trending.
Sean, let me tell you, once I asked a question about brat and I never heard the end of it. Never heard the end.
So my question to you is, what are some modern terms you've been confused with lately? Because we can just air it.
Fuck. Oh. There was one that I asked my friend Emily about. I pull my phone up here. I asked her to explain something to me and she said she didn't know. And she said, why? Should I know about it? And I said, I don't fucking know. I'm asking you. All right, let's see. Here's how I'm going to do this. Just bear with me here.
You got a message live on air.
Trying to search my messages. Because it was within the last 3 weeks.
Let's play some elevator music. I went to the...
No, you know who it was about. I've remembered. It was about Pink Pantheress. You know who that is?
Yeah.
I was like,
this is exactly what I wanted out of you.
What's the fucking deal with Pink
Yeah.
Can you please explain. And what I was asking for was just some cultural context around who's her audience and why she seems to be popping off on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Obviously, her song "Illegal" became one of those TikTok songs that filter through to Instagram reels.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me this.
And it's because
This must be illegal. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Hey, ooh, is this illegal?
Yeah.
Hey, and I'm like, all right, what's the fucking deal with this? You know. So anyway, I asked Emily, and she didn't know. So do you know?
Yeah. Well, she's just a bit of a happening character at the moment. Is
it serious?
Is it serious?
Yeah.
Is she going to be the next Chapel Rowan or something?
Yeah, well, that's Chapel Rowan. Don't miss that completely.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, she
Chapel Rowan is maybe her music is more maybe appreciated by the queer community, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah, you do understand that correctly.
So she's maybe I don't know, Selena Gomez for the gays or something.
Yeah, I think Selena Gomez might be for the guys. Actually, someone might be coming out of a room that can answer this question. Stel, is Selena Gomez for the queers?
You're asking it to put.
Fucking hell. It's the blind leading the blind out here.
Useless stuff.
Nah, but I feel like Pink Pantheress is having a much more prolonged and different moment. Where's there? No, I've got to put these Star Wars aesthetic pictures back up.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one I prepared earlier.
So,
but it's more DJ-ish, more...
What I was going to say as well is that at the climbing gym...
Less poppy.
At the climbing gym last night, Charlie, who was one of the...
Climbing Gym McCollum.
The absolute institutional figures of Northside Boulders where I climb, doffs myself. Between 9 and 10 last night, he's having a Lana Del Rey fest.
Oh.
As I understand it, Lana Del Rey maybe also has a strong queer-based listenership.
I'm not sure. This is blind leading the blind here.
So maybe, yeah.
Do people come to their sports podcast for queer music trivia? I don't think so.
So I'm also soliciting fact check, please. If my pop culture knowledge is lacking here. Anyway,
Your pop culture knowledge is a waning nimbus.
It doesn't make any sense. If you have information about Pink Panther that you'd like to share, please email deeptubepodcast@gmail.com.
All right. The over-unders. If you haven't listened to the second episode, I would ask you to first ask yourself if you listened to the first episode, and then if you haven't listened to that, then listen to that one. But if you have listened to the first episode but not the second, what are you doing on the third, you sick fuck? Get back to the second, because this is the second of 3. And we're not going to tell you how this works.
If you have not listened to any of the previous 2, bad luck for you, because we're starting with the Central Division. So that's your punishment.
That's fuck. That hurts. Yeah, let's not spend too much time on this division. Chicago Bulls, their number set at 32.5. Fuck, this is so sad. They drafted...
Chicago Bulls with a number set in the mid-30s. What is this? Any of the previous 10 years?
They drafted Noah Asenge? You were the French expert last episode.
Who the fuck? So let me just do my Conor McGregor impression. Who the fuck is that guy?
He's what? So can I describe to you his player type?
Pretty lethal face card.
That's pretty young of you. But can I describe to you his sort of like player type, and you can just say, oh my god, that's not going to work in Chicago. Yeah. He's like a non-shooting defense first, guards 1 through 4.
Yeah, non-shooting.
Yeah, it's not going to work. They traded for Isaac Okoro in a 1-for-1 trade with Lonzo Ball. Well, for Lonzo Ball. Drafted Lachlan Aldrich at the Bronny James pick, 55. He's coming from Australia. Lost Lonzo Ball and Taylor Horton-Tucker. How funny, I hyphenated everything. Josh Giddey's still waiting. There was rumoured this morning, 3 weeks ago, that he will be doing something soon. That there has been progress toward a contract extension. I imagine it's going to be in the high 20s, and it's going to be exactly what he wanted.
Is that what?
It's about 25 a year. It's a lot of money, isn't it? But he hit that shot.
They're seriously thinking like 20 highs. 20 highs.
20 mids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying too much attention to this because it's so tedious with the RFA stuff.
Yeah.
But I had kind of thought that they were pretty far apart, and they were going to offer him something like in the low 20s, like 4 for 80 kind of ballpark.
That's what they did offer him, but I'm guessing, and it sounds like they're creeping up. I'm guessing it will get to 25. So they won 39 games last year. So why are they losing? Why has it gone down 7 wins? The East has gotten better, I guess. They lost Lonzo Ball. Why is it so low?
I don't know. I've got over.
Yeah, so they're going to win 34 and it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Let's move on, because I feel like we should capture our listeners a little bit more. Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't want to? Is there anything you want to add to the Bulls? No. The Cleveland Cavaliers, their number is set at 56.5. They added Lonzo Ball, Larry Nance Jr., and Tyrese Proctor. They lost Isaac Okoro, Ty Jerome, and Javonte Graham. Where do you want to go from here?
Check my notes.
They replaced Ty Jerome with Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, which is makes sense. Except Ty Jerome was the most reliable backup point guard in the league last year.
You weren't saying that last week.
Lonzo, and Lonzo Ball, it's Lonzo Ball with Lonzo Ball's health.
And he was actually good last year, and he will be good on this team. But yeah, I'm going over.
He was also on a minutes restriction last year,
and he will be for the rest of his career.
Yeah,
I'm going over. I think this team is going to be quite good.
Yes, yeah.
Like another year of Evan Mobley being...
This is your one team with a bullet.
Yeah, because what? Boston's not there?
Milwaukee's not there.
The Knicks were both
Pacers aren't there.
No. Like Detroit, Knicks...
This is a bad conf.
Orlando, I am going to go very high on Orlando.
Yeah, but you can't probably put Orlando above.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to go under just for kind of like a slightly watered down version of what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago with the Nuggets and the Thunder, where like teams that have a really high over-under set after a big year the year before often don't meet it. But I think I'm going to switch to over. Just
Donovan Mitchell is a darling. I think why this might be down is because Darius Garland's going to miss the first couple of weeks of the season with some injury, I believe.
Yeah, well, at least I got Lonzo Ball to offset that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've still got Craig Porter Jr. Did you like that joke? Did you chuckle at this?
Yeah, it wasn't one of my favorite jokes that you wrote down.
All right, cool.
I'll read it out. You wrote, fun fact, if you write down a list of players called Porter Jr. and then in parentheses, Mike, Kevin, etc., end parentheses, you would alphabetically put Craig first, and some might mistake the sheet as a Craig's list. If you can write into deep2podcast@gmail.com to give us your feedback on that. Funny.
Well, yeah, I get what you mean with the over, but I think there's no one competing with him.
So we think that there's 3 teams that will win 50 games accepted.
No, maybe 4. It depends how high you are on the Pistons and the Magic.
Yeah,
and
the Magic were my third team. The Knicks were my second team in that formulation.
Yeah, it has to be the Pistons. I mean, the what'd you call him, Janice?
Yeah,
Janice Bucks.
Yeah, I mean we'll get to Janice, but like literally not a lot of like actual like top NBA players.
Yeah,
not a lot of even 8th men on that team.
Yeah, the Detroit Pistons, their number is set at 45.5. They added Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, and Colby Jones. Shout out to the film room. They lost Malik Beasley, Simon Fonte, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Dennis Schroeder. You know the whole cap stuff with. Let's actually not talk about that. Malik Beasley gambling out of the league. Quite sad. It's actually reading into the further articles about his sort of downfall and the mental issues that must be going on with him are quite sad, and he probably won't play another game of NBA basketball. Also, don't rig games. I'm not saying I'm sad for him there, but it's sad that he's in this situation.
The crazy thing, another crazy element to that is that not only was he amazing and in line for a huge payday with the Pistons,
which would have paid off all his debts,
and like, you know, he's probably the Pistons' main off-season priority. He literally made the 7th highest amount of 3-point baskets ever in a single season.
Yeah.
And every single player like Ed Sargam has made multiple All-NBA teams.
Yeah.
And then at his zenith, he, as Icarus, flew too close to the sun with that last multi and burned and crashed to earth.
Yeah.
We need him on Michael Porter Jr.'s pod talking about Vice.
Seriously. Yeah, you can watch my episode of the film. I think Jaden Ivey controls a lot of this team's destiny with how high they can go.
Yeah.
I've gone over, not because I think Jaden Ivey will be an all-star, but because I think they're going to win 47 to 48 games.
Yeah, sure. I've also gone over. I think they could sniff 50 for sure.
Yeah, they could, but the most likely isn't.
What do you think about like Duncan Robinson and LeVert in there as your replacement, essentially for all in those 2 players you're duplicating skill sets of all 4 players who they lost, being Beasley, Fontecchio, Hardaway, and Schroeder? I
think Fontecchio had a down season, and he's about to have an incredible season with Miami because he's just the sort of player Miami takes and turns into a great role player. Malik Beasley, you will never be able to repeat it. It's like Steph Curry, James Harden. But I think Duncan Robinson's gravity will be similar to what we saw with Malik Beasley. But I just think Dennis Schroeder is a really good veteran creator, and it's going to be really hard to do what he did. And I've never been high on Karis LeVert. Do you think they can replace it?
Personally, I've never been high on Karis LeVert either.
You've always been high on Karis LeVert. That's actually your whole thing.
Yeah, that's one thing that I can't get away with. The receipts I'm out of too heavily strewn through the early years of this podcast. I think in terms of replacing ball handling, like LeVert and Ivy should be able to replicate that and function as a compound backup for Cade.
Yeah.
And both of them can, in theory, play off of him. Although with Ivy, it's all theoretical because we haven't seen Ivy play off Cade as like Cade also being like an actual bona fide star. So I'm not sure, how confident I am, but like the theory makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, Ivy played really well to start the season.
Yeah.
And then Cole Anthony bumped into his knee from sideways. The Indiana Pacers, their number is set at 38.5. They added James Huff and some second-round picks. They lost Thomas Bryant and Miles Turner in a big way. It's 38.5. This is going to be my push. I'm going to do the double number push.
I knew it was coming.
If that's all right with you.
Well, yeah, why? Thanks for saying that. It's not all right with me, and you're not going to change anything about it anyway.
So I say they're going to win 38 or 39 games.
Yeah. Very noble of you. Very noble. I'm going under. And I'm surprised to see that you're still thinking of them as 38, 30. That's a play-in.
All right, let me change. I'm going to go over.
They lose 2 of their 3 best players from last year, literally for nothing.
Yeah.
And they're only going to drop 11 games in the standings.
Yeah, in what we're seeing as a weak conference, God, what am I talking about? That is quite rough.
What's their lineup? It's McConnell.
Nah, it's not McConnell.
Neesmith.
Neesmith at the 1.
Hard, Neesmith. Fucking Siakam. Isaiah Jackson and
Mathurin. Throw Mathurin in there.
Yeah.
No, you can't start Jay Huff, but then you also can't start Tony Bradley, Isaiah Jackson, or James Wiseman.
Thomas Bryant, none of those players are starting centers.
They re-signed Isaiah Jackson to a 3 for 21.
And I think the Neesmiths of the world, and maybe even the Nemhards of the world, are the kind of players that look amazing in a healthy ecosystem, but they don't necessarily create the health. I'm talking specifically offensively.
Yeah.
Neesmith and Nemhard are not all of a sudden going to be turning into efficient, high usage ball handling players.
Yeah. Maybe I should go back to push.
And we've seen what Siakam as the main guy on the team looks like, and it actually looks like exactly this number of wins. So,
well set number.
I'm going. Put it under.
I'm gonna stick with my over because I think they've got a really good coach.
Yeah,
and I think there's just enough upside value when it comes to maybe Mathurin's finally going to do it. Maybe Jay Huff can be a slight facsimile, even though he hasn't done it for his past 3 stops.
I'm making this my best bet.
Yeah, maybe Johnny Furphy's summer league stuff is repeatable.
Maybe.
It's not. It's not. That's why you've gone best bet, Charles. But Nembhard, I think, can do something in a bigger role, and he can't. It's like Jamal Murray, where it's hey, you have to be an all-star eventually. You have to average 20 points a game. He has to average over 10 points in a season, one time, right? He can't keep averaging 9, then hit the playoffs and average 20.
Yeah,
that's weird, man.
Yeah. But even in the and yes, it's the playoffs. It's against the best players in the league. But even in the playoffs, when he was doing that for 2 games at a time, and then he was going back to 9.
But also, if I'm going to talk about the confidence thing like I did last week with the Knicks, that was last week. Yeah. No, I got to do the confidence thing with this whole Pacers team. They're going to have I'm going to sound like a fuckhead, but they're going to have an aura about them when they play next season until everything goes to shit. They got their pick back, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think if there's probably one thing that could created the aura of a finals team is
boing.
Yeah, it's boing in the way that happened. I know we said it last week, but the way that the sunlight catches the palace walls on the Naboo when the sun is setting, that is just beautiful.
I think I should change from an over, but I just
stay over. It's better for me.
Yeah, okay. You did that other stupid thing. The Milwaukee Bucks, their number set at 43.5. They added Miles Turner, Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Amir Coffey, assuming he gets off a training camp deal, which is just insane. They lost Pat Cotton, Damian Lillard, and Brook Lopez. Waived and stretched Lillard, crazy. And then Giannis didn't publicly commit to their team. Doc Rivers is still their head coach. 43.5 wins. If Giannis doesn't end up playing for the Milwaukee Bucks at the end of the year, this is obviously going to go under and it's going to be just disgusting and awful. Maybe it's like, who's Alperen Şengün's their best player? And it's like, okay, maybe Alperen Şengün can actually get you to 44 wins during the regular season. I don't trust Doc Rivers to do that, but yeah, this is the role players on this team, as you talked about just a little while ago. They're the who's who of who can't get off a minimum.
I've just been doing some maths in my head. If this team through the first 50 games went and won 60% of their games with Giannis,
Yeah.
and then Giannis got traded, they would have, at the deadline, they would have probably like 32 wins and 20 losses. And then there's 30 games left. If they then flipped it and they only won 40% of their games, they would go 12 and 18 the rest of the way, which would take them to 44 wins.
But if
Both of those things seem unlikely. It seems unlikely when they're going to win 60% of their games to start the season. And then if they traded Giannis at the trade deadline, that they would win 40% of their games after that.
But it'd have to be Giannis requesting a trade.
I think that's just where this is headed, that he has all these like ideas in his head of like, I want to give the franchise the chance to prove to me that like they can make it work because I want to make it work with this city. Of course I want to win. And then he's going to be like, oh, true, I'm not going to win. It's to say that in July. It's going to be in January. And you're like, oh, fuck, like we're actually so mid. And like, I'm playing with Amir Coffey.
And Kevin Porter Jr.
And I could just click my fingers and go literally wherever I fucking want.
Yeah.
Because you know as well, like, they're not sending him to, like, Memphis.
Yeah.
You know,
He's going to pick Golden State, and then it's going to be for Jimmy Butler.
I'm not going to pick in that way, like, where they're going to say, we'll send you wherever you want.
He'll say 3 teams.
They're going to say, here's 10 teams that are sitting us an offer that we would accept. You can pick from these 10 teams.
So I
actually
quite like Cole Anthony on a minimum. I quite like Ryan Rollins on a minimum, and I quite like Kevin Porter Jr.
Red flag.
Yeah, I actually really
You threw soup at a coach, right?
That's funny. I quite dislike Taurean Prince, Gary Trent Jr. Get this, Kyle Kuzma. He still plays basketball there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, real bad. So many things can go wrong, and if everything goes right, they might win 48, right? Which is only 4 above this.
Yeah.
Final division of this 3-weekly long podcast. We'll kick it off with the hipsters team, the Atlanta Hawks, 47.5 wins. Is this the last thing?
Yeah.
There's a huge division. It's just got more teams. 47.5 for the Atlanta Hawks. They added Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard, Kristaps Porzingis, and Asa Newell, who they drafted somewhere. They lost Clint Capella, Karis LeVert, Terrence Mann, Larry Nance Jr., and Georges Niang. Everyone's talking about this team. It's like, wow, you know, you've got the nucleus of Trae Young and like just making his team a lot better. And it's like, you know, he's always going to get compared to Luka Doncic. And I said to you, if you get Luka Doncic, I said this, 3 weeks ago? If you get Luka Doncic and you just surround him with some average players, that's a 50-win team. Trae Young has proven that he can't be that guy anymore. And you can't trust him to be that guy who can run an offense that elite. So I've actually hit the under. Because I don't think the nucleus is that good when Porzingis misses his 40 games. Remember, he had like some debilitating illness last season that still isn't solved. He spoke to media last week and said he's really excited to be a UFC fighter once he finishes his NBA career.
Also, like, someone that tall, he is just going to get molded. Sorry.
I've never watched a tall person do UFC.
The tallest guys in the UFC who are like actually good are like 6'8".
Right, so he's 7'2" or whatever.
7'2", yeah. His center of gravity is going to be so high. Someone's going to try and get close to him, sweep him, and then it's over.
Fuck.
Then it's over.
And he's injury prone.
Yeah, there'll be amazing things different. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit more, I think.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker's best position to guard is 2s, which is also Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, that's really good.
which is also Dyson Daniels. So who's guiding the big wings on this team?
Good question. They like Ace and Newell.
Good on them. Who's that French kid?
Zachary Reese-Shea. Jalen Johnson.
True.
But I guess he could guard the big wings.
The BBWs.
What's that?
Big wings.
Yeah. Dyson Daniels, you're comfortable with him chasing someone around screens as much as you're comfortable with him defending the point of attack. So between him and Johnson, you can probably make a pretty good starting wing defense anyway. And if they have three amazing, really dangerous players, you're in trouble anyway. Although it's the East, they probably don't. I'm going to go over just because they have a lot of good players.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to regret this.
Kennard, Alexander Walker, Johnson, Young, Reese-Shea, Okongwu.
There's a lot of things that could pop.
Yeah, all of those are good young players who could pop. And Newell is supposed to be someone who as well.
They're also really high on Mohamed Gay.
Yeah. High on Gay.
Best of luck to him.
Damn.
In the play-in against the Orlando Magic, they started Mohamed Gay at the 4 because they wanted more defense against Orlando's blistering offense.
How did that scare?
Yeah.
I remember. I just think, the thing that to borrow a Hollingerism, the stir that straws the drink is Trey. He was bad 2 years ago and he was valiantly fighting through an ankle injury basically the whole of last season, which really actually did hamper his effectiveness.
Is that canon?
Yeah, it's canon. He was low-key an Achilles.
Right.
But I think he's going to have to do less than ever. The thing I'm watching out for is that Jalen Johnson has not made an all-star team precisely because he's also been injured.
Yeah, he played 30 games last year.
He had, and the year before he missed a big chunk.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of promise, but not a lot of delivery.
Yeah. But I think Porzingis, I don't know. I'm going over.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of ways this doesn't work.
Yeah, but conversely, the whole point of the team construction is that there's a lot of ways that it does.
Yeah. All right, the next team, the Charlotte Hornets. They added Pat Cotton on, Spencer Dinwiddie, Con Knipple, brothers of Ryan Kalkbrenner, who they drafted 34th and looked like a stiffer Brook Lopez in Summer League, but it worked, and it could have just been Summer League. And they added the Dante All-Stars, which is Mason Plumlee and Colin Sexton. So fucking doesn't bode well for picking the over, but I've picked the over. I think, are they going to win games now? Is that what they're trying to do? Because
they've been trying to win games.
They won 19 games last year, and their second best player, what's his name? The shooter, Brandon Miller. Yeah. Brandon Miller missed games with a broken thumb. And I know how well he played because I drafted him really low on fantasy and got some good value out of him. But 26.5 wins would be 7 games more than they did last year. Well, more accurately, 27 games would be. I've gone the over, you've gone the under. I can completely understand why you've picked the under. But I think this is one of the teams that's going to rise in the East next season. While we've been talking a lot about teams that are falling, I think this is one of the rises.
Yeah, you're probably banking on the Miller to stay healthy. And if that doesn't happen, then this is all moot.
It's Dinwiddie, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you see his tattoo? LaMelo? The Cheetos.
Don't tell me it's on his toes.
So he got Cheeto dust tattooed on his toes.
That's good. I'm actually speechless.
So it's like he's dipped his toes into Cheeto dust.
What the fuck?
Yeah. This is the dude that's got one of one and an alien on his chest. Brother, you literally have 2 other brothers that have similar names and looks... Yeah.
That's one of the weirdest things
Rare one.
I've ever seen. Wow. I guess that's what happens when you send your child to Lithuania age 16.
True, I completely forgot about that.
Fucking.
What was with that? That was not all right. That was really odd. But do you remember when we were at the Basketball World Cup and Lucas was talking to the Team USA guy?
You know.
He was just talking to, he's like, oh, you know, what are some NBA players like or something, right? And he goes, one thing that always shocks me is that LaMelo Ball is one of the most professional guys I've ever worked with. And I've never forgotten that. And he's like, man, everyone says, oh, look, he's got the fast cars and, you know, he dresses like he does. But he's never missed a training. He's always there earlier than everyone else. And he just loves basketball and just wants to find more ways to play more basketball. And ever since I heard that, it was 2022, I've always been like, something good could happen here. Because it's not an idiot, right? It's not like...
I mean, none of the critique of him or this team and where they're going, like, has ever, as far as I'm aware, really centered on, like, that he's immature or he's not ready to, like, lead or whatever.
Not immature, but I remember there was a draft guy that said, hey, mate, here are some of your highlights in Illawarra, right? Why did you make this pass? And he goes, oh, I don't know, it's just open. And he just didn't know why he was making the read. And everyone's like, oh, stay away from that, right? And then Michael Jordan gave them the all clear to draft from Melo. I was like, okay, whatever.
It turned out to be a fucking system. The thing is that the guy just has debilitating ankle injuries on both legs. Both ankles.
Yeah.
So
runs in the family.
He hasn't stayed healthy since like the 2022 season.
Yeah.
That's 3 consecutive injury-riddled seasons. And
you have to assume he does it again. Yeah.
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 I don't know. I'm not putting any faith in it, to be honest.
Charlotte Hornets have 2 centers on their roster. Yeah. Yusuf Nurkic and Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Didn't you say before that Yusuf Nurkic was in? You said last week that Yusuf Nurkic.
Sorry, yeah, this hasn't updated. Yusuf Nurkic is in Utah. So they've got Mason Plumlee and Ryan Kalkbrenner.
And fucking...
Tijon Solon. He's 6'9". Tijon. The Miami Heat, 39.5. They added Simone Fontecchio, who's about to become the best 3-and-D role player in the league. They drafted Kaspris Yakochonis. And they traded fucking a bag of peanuts and a firm handshake for Norm Powell, who will be expiring at the end of the year and needs to get paid. But for now, he's a good basketball player. They lost Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, Alec Burks, Haywood Highsmith, and Duncan Robinson. There is one more move they need to do to duck the tax, and apparently they're looking to trade Terry Rozier wherever possible. He's currently under investigation with the league office for tampering games, so you would assume that they would just be happy keeping him, so then they could just get off his $20 million plus deal. Bit of a red flag that they're still looking to trade him so aggressively. So they will continue to shed salary on this team, and you would have to assume get worse because of that. But 40 wins for the Miami Heat. What have you done?
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, but like Hero, Bam, Powell,
Wiggins.
Simone
Fontecchio is going to be good.
It's the East.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, Bam has kind of like not taken the next step to be like an elite player. Like, he's probably not one of the 16 best players
in the league. Yeah.
Surely, even though it seemed like a few seasons ago he could be on that kind of trajectory. Hero, we definitely think he's like an East All-Star. Norm Powell, if he was in the East last year, would have made All-Stars. There's enough offensive firepower there. And I guess what are you rolling out with like Wiggins and Fontec on the wing?
Wiggins is a good 3. Like in terms,
for sure.
It's say a replacement level 3.
Yeah. I don't really like have a whole heap of faith in anyone on this team after that. Like Khalil Ware, he was good as a rookie.
They might start him at the 5.
He and Bam can play together some, which I think maybe pushes the need to have like a role player starting at the 3 or the 4.
They didn't want to put Jaime Jaquez in any trades because they're still like his upside after he had a horrible season last year. I mean, there is the upside there. I don't want to say I like Pele last. They've got some outs. Davion Mitchell, did I send you his Instagram photo where he was like in the snow? He's like in Sweden and he's just wearing his jersey and some pants. Like it says like it's the it was like the Raptors or the Heat, and it was just like no off days or something. So no off day. What's his name? Off
His name is off day. Yeah.
It said off day. Off night. He got a custom jersey that says off night. He's just standing in the snow.
Do less, actually.
What?
Do less.
Do less, yeah. All right, well, we're both going over, but it's just...
It's a tepid over.
The Miami Heat, if they don't do something soon, they're sort of falling into Portland Trail Blazers, Chicago Bulls territory.
Bro, they're in it.
They're in it, yeah.
Except that they have made NBA Finals in 2 of the last 5 seasons.
That's it. I'm actually... That's really bad on me. I'm going to shut up.
But but they are in it, though, because one of those seasons, they made it from, like, 5th. And
the other was 8.
Made it literally from the plane.
And it's also Jimmy Butler. Like, he was someone who willed them there. Without him, yeah. And they decided not to have him. The Orlando Magic, 51.5. They added Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. I love both of those acquisitions. They gave up Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Gary Harris, Caleb Houston, and heaps of picks. They're one Jet Howard away from the tax line, so I'm assuming they will dump him in the next 12 months. I've gone over, and I think this will be a mid-50s win team if everyone's healthy.
Yeah, I'm going over too. This team had some pretty serious problems last season. One of which was health, so both of their big wings. That seems to be a theme of these podcasts the last few weeks we've been doing. But the other one is like, they both had awesome moments last season when the other one was out. But when they were actually together, like this team majorly collapsed down the stretch due to a lack of scoring punch. Under Jamal Mosley, they've been a great defense the entire time. But it was their offense that really let them down last year. And yes, Desmond Bane seems to be like an ideal player to like stimulate the elements of the offense that were lacking, like off-ball movement and shooting and cutting. That should open up more driving lanes and more space on the block for the things that Paolo and Fowles like to do. It all makes complete sense, but then I guess I would just kind of say yes, but it's still just Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is not, like Desmond Bane is not one of this. 30... Is Desmond Bane one of the 40 best NBA players? Like,
yeah, true. Yeah, when you put it like that. But he does fit so well.
He does fit really well, and like it should be tailor-made to play for his strengths. But he, in and of himself, is not someone who I'm like, wow, they got fucking Desmond Bane. Like, this is the guy that's gonna fix all of their issues that they had last year. That's not to say that I'm not buying it. I'm just kind of wary. That all being said, I am going over. I think probably the next step to this team is like low 50s and like a 3 seed.
Yeah, and going over on this number.
They'll still, wherever they're going, they will still get there on the strength of their defense.
Yeah. All right, the final team. Paul Lucas always has to wait to the end of the alphabet, and in this, the end of our 3-week podcasts. The Washington Wizards, 21.5 wins. They added Marvin Bagley, Malachi Branham, Trey Johnson, who they drafted 6th, CJ McCollum, Cam Whitmore, and Will Riley. And they lost Jordan Poole, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, and Sadiq Bey. They won 18 games last season. And while there are a lot of outs, and I love the buy low acquisitions of Cam Whitmore and Malachi Branham, and just drafting a good guy 6, who we'll see how good he is. They still have Chris Middleton on the roster. But this is going to be one of the worst 3 teams in the league with the Utah Jazz and the Brooklyn Nets, and they want to be bad because if they wanted to be good, they would have more good basketball players on their team. What do you think?
I think this is like similarly to the Utah Jazz. Like if they had if they had not picked 5th and 6th last year and they had instead picked 2nd and 3rd, maybe they wouldn't be such obvious tank candidates. And it has to be said that the Utah, Danny Ainge's son, who's now running the fucking Utah Jazz,
there's Lake Crooked over there.
He's saying, "Oh, we're not going to be tanking." And like, it makes no obvious sense for them to try and be good. So the Wizards are kind of like, this is wrong. If the Wizards had Dylan Harper instead of
Trey Johnson,
maybe they should roll the ball out and say like, between Koulibaly, Saar, we like Bob Carrington, we've got Dylan Harper. Like, let's just fucking kind of see what happens. And like,
You can have John Wall again.
if we win, we just accidentally win 33 games, then it's like, oh, okay, cool. We can now we know this is the nucleus.
Yeah.
It's less likely that they do that with Johnson than if they had one of the more highly touted prospects higher up the draft. So I think they probably are going to intentionally tank.
Yeah.
Koulibaly like hasn't put it all together yet, but he's still quite young. You know, I don't know. The Kyson George, Bob Carrington thing, like both kind of looked alright.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's like, let's see what Johnson gives you, and let's see if Saar can address some of the holes in his game. I'm not sure. It doesn't profile to be a very good team, and it does profile to be a team with an obvious incentive to lose.
Yeah.
And like shut CJ McCollum down. When a nagging injury pops up, and like say to Cam Whitmore, you have permission to shoot.
Yeah. I should have said this earlier, but like one of the best ways to tell if a team's going to be really bad is if they don't have respectable centre play or point guard play. This team at centre has Tristan Vukcevic still on a two-way, and Alex Saar. And I think that's awesome for Alex Saar's development. Like, we're really going to find out if he's going to be good at basketball and if he's going to be good in his role, but it's going to take a whole season to find that. And yeah,
he showed things last year.
Yeah, and he did in summer league as well. And I think he can be good. It's just got to wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so a few disagreements in there, but that's good. It's a healthy disagreement, as we always encourage in these over-unders. Any takeaways before we wrap up for this year?
I think my big takeaway is that this is the first season in the West for the last couple of years when it feels like it's not just like absolutely fucking chock-a-block with teams that you're like, oh, that's a no-brainer playoff team, that's a no-brainer playoff team, and you just end up with like 11 or 12 of those teams. Yeah. And you know, like Pelicans could pivot into a tank potentially, although actually now that I've said that, they can't because Atlanta owns their pick.
So fucked
they
up.
could accidentally tank. Like Utah will be tanking. Portland might not be that good. You know, we're not sold on Memphis, the Clippers, and the Lakers, which in the past have been well and truly in conversation for like high 40s. So I think it could be like not as flat in the West this year. And that makes it so much more difficult to kind of pick. Yeah.
Not as flat, but maybe the plateau or the lower plateau is all at the 40s.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing a lot of parity in Adam Silver's new NBA, but like that meant in the past couple of years a lot of teams that could win 55 games, and now we're just seeing a lot of guys who could win 42 games. Like the end goal everyone wins 41?
Yeah.
Are we trending towards that?
The last sort of 2 or 3 seasons, it's felt like there's been 6 teams in the 47 to 53. You know, there's been 1 or 2 teams that are like bona fide, like top seeds.
Yeah.
And then in the West, like everybody else is kind of like 5 games back from that, and it's like low 40s into the play-in the West. In some years, not even.
Yeah.
I think that's made it really difficult to pick. And then obviously like you know, what's going to happen with Giannis hanging over the Bucks pick, for example. Will the Thunder buck the trend of teams not being able to back up a historic season to quite the win total degree?
Yeah.
Any takeaways for you?
Yeah, same as you. It's just the top isn't as undeniable anymore. And so we really have to pick teams where it's like, you're like, okay, the Hawks can do it if everyone's healthy. And I'm like, I love the Orlando Magic. And like, we're even saying, the Pistons, if everything goes well, could be in there. Like, we're going to see a bit of a changing of the guard. And if a team like the Denver Nuggets give a shit, they can so easily have the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed. And I am just sort of astounded at how good the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder are, and how much better their rosters are than even the best in the East, like the Cavs. And that's going to make for a great playoff series.
Yeah.
Which, I'm talking about 10 months away right now. But
Well, it's only 5 or 6 weeks away from the start of training camp. So
Yeah, and then
less than 2 months ish to the start of the regular season.
5 more weeks of just restricted free agency chat.
I was gonna say hopefully the IFAs have signed by the start of training camp.
All right. Well, Dante, thanks for coming on for this 3rd consecutive week of podcasting.
It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been my pleasure.
My Wednesday nights back. Bloody hell.
All right. I will speak to you next time.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.